Good morning. Pasha Shoftim, 1991. Very essential, very important about prophecy and prophecy in our times and what the prophecy in our times is. Very, very important. But the Rebbe explains first what is prophecy and how prophecy could be in our times, and then he gives the prophecy. So, we're in the Pasha Shoftim, where it says, Shoftim, which are judges, Shoftim are police. You should put in all your gates. There is a prophecy from the prophet of Geulah, which is Yeshaya. The prophet Yeshaya says, I'll return your judges like they were at the start, and your advisors like they were at the beginning. So that's a verse. Just like we say in the prayer every day, in the days of the week, we say Hashiva shoftena kivashana v'yotzena kivatchila. We say it in the Shemona Esrei, the Amidah prayer, where we're standing, and we ask Hashem every day, please return our judges like they were at the start, v'yotzena kivatchila, and our judges like they were at the beginning. Okay, so. Okay, I'm just looking at the footnotes. Okay. As we've spoken, Rebbe says quite a few times lately, especially about the publicity and the advertisement or the declaration, I would call it declaration, that the previous Rebbe announced and decreed and declared. And the previous Rebbe said, the tshuva, the Geulah. We should have tshuva immediately, and then with that, we'll have Geulah immediately. Louder. It's happening. The Rebbe says, which means we already finished everything that needs to be done. The previous Rebbe already said, that, and that's it. We're doing tshuva, and Mashiach's coming. And the Rebbe says we finished even polishing the buttons, meaning the last final touches of what needs to be done for Mashiach to come. So the only thing we need is that we need to be ready for it. Okay, we have to be able to absorb and accept, and basically like be prepared, agree to it. And this Rebbe even says even that we finished. We're already ready. We're already standing prepared. To receive Mashiach, a righteous Mashiach, a Redeemer, immediately mamash. So it's understood. So Rebbe says, if we've done everything and we're already standing prepared, then we're ready for this prophecy to occur from Yeshaya, which says, I will return your judges like at the start and your advisors like at the beginning. Meaning we're now in another one of these prophecies at times of Geulah. We can see we're already ready for this. So what's going on? Itam is more than that. Like at the start, there's already the start of this. It already started. And the Rebbe is going to explain how. How do we already have our judges and our police? Okay, that's paragraph 1, paragraph base. So we'll understand this better if we look closely at the wording of this prophecy. This prophecy from Yeshaya, which in our talked about in this week's Torah portion, where in our portion it says, Shoftim v'shotlim titenacha, you should put judges and police in your, right? So you should place for yourself. Welcome. Somebody came on.
Hi, Sarah. Sarah Anthea.
Sarah who? Oh, Anthea. Very nice. We have 2 LA women today. I posted on the LA chat. Wonderful. Welcome, early morning birds. Okay. So it's good that you came on because I was talking about prophecy. So in this week's Torah portion, Shoftim, it says judges and policemen you should put for yourselves and your gates. Whereas, that's in the way the Torah says it. Whereas in the future, where it says Hashem will return our judges, it doesn't mention Hashem will return police. Then it doesn't say policemen or women, by the way, it just says police. So what not only doesn't say there won't be police return, but it says you will have advisors. Instead of police, it changes it to advisors. We will have advisors in the future. in this prophecy of Yeshaya for the future. So the Rebbe is going to explain what is the idea of a judge and what is the concept of an advisor. And then the Rebbe asks two more questions. Why in the word your judges it says like at the start, and when it says and it will turn your advisors like at the beginning. So like there's a transposition of those words, advisors and judges, and with start and beginning. So what's the difference? Now, also when it says shoftaich, this is the fourth question, the last question. The Rebbe asks when it says shoftaich v'yotzaich, your advisors and your judges, l'shon nochach, like to you, your advisor, your right. In our parsha, though, it doesn't say I will return your advisors and your judges, or your. It says judges and police, just like that, not your police or your judges. And then it says you should place for you afterwards. So in our parsha, it's a little bit less personal, and it's talking about police. And in the future vision of Yeshaya, it's going to be advisors, not police, and it's going to be your advisors. So the Rebbe is learning from this a few things. And he says, like, this is his explanation. This is paragraph 3. What's the difference between a judge and an advisor, or a judge and a policeman, like it says in our Torah portion? Rashi explains, judges are the ones who declare or determine the judgment, what the law is. And the policemen are the ones, or policewomen, the police are the ones who enact, who make sure that people accept the judgment and do it, follow through. What is a police? Their role is to force, to take power and control the people, that they should accept the law and the judgment. So that is, okay, according to this, we'll understand. That's why in the future, when Yeshaya says, I will return your judges, it doesn't say I will return your judges and your police. It says, why? Just your judges. Why? Because in the future, there will be no more evil. There will be no evil inclination. We will not need police that will force us, the nation, the people, to listen to the judges. Because everybody will keep on their own the instructions, the guidelines, the rules. We'll just need judges that they will determine what the rule is, what the law is, what Hashem wants. They'll teach us Torah, they'll instruct us how to keep the Torah and the mitzvahs, to the Jewish people. And then the Rebbe adds in parentheses, we'll go up higher and higher in holiness. So meaning like we'll have instructors who will help us get higher and higher and higher in holiness. You could always improve and do better and come closer to Hashem with the more awareness and understanding that we have. So that is paragraph 3. Paragraph 4. Yes, another is adding a chiddush, a deeper insight. That's why this week's Torah portion is called shoftim, judges. It's not called shoftim, it's not called police. Like we know, the name of something expresses what the thing is about. Something, the parsha of the Torah there, but very, very, very often talks about the name of the parsha. The Torah portion that was named is connected to the parsha, and it expresses what's going on in that week. And it's everything that's even a custom of the Jewish people. It's very aligned and very exacting. So the Rebbe is asking a question. So the Rebbe is asking, how is it that the name shoftim, judges, which is judges, we're taking effect together with police? How is that that mitzvah connected here? Okay, wait. Like it says in the Midrash, if you don't have a police to enforce the judge is going to be a judge is a hierarchy where you have to enforce what he has to say because it's not necessarily it's higher than the people's level of awareness or understanding or where they're holding. They have to go to a judge who's beyond them. And so usually you need a police to enforce it. אין שוטר שיוצא ממנו כיוון שפורש מן הדין, אין ספקה ביד הדיין לעשות לו כלום, אלא אם כן מסור ביד השוטר. The judge can't do anything to enforce his ruling. So if he says you owe this person money, the judges can't go running after him to enforce it. So you need the police in order for the judge to be effective. So the question is, how is it that they just drop the shoftim, drop the police, and just use the word shoftim, judges, for the name of the parsha? A shofet is impotent. It can't really do anything if he doesn't have a police enacting it. So the Rebbe says, the explanation is, the whole idea of a shoter, of a policeman, is only in order to help the judge. If the judge can't enact the actual judgment, you need a police that have the force. They have their tools. They have their power and control tools. They have sticks and whips. That will force them, they'll be scared enough to go ahead and take upon the judgment of the judge. לכן נקראת הפרשה רק בשם שופטים ומינוי שופטים אינו אמונים רק המצווה בפני עצמה. אלא נכלל ממצוות מינוי שופטים, כיוון שעניין השוטרים הוא הפרט בעניין של השופטים. So therefore, the parsha is only called judges, and the appointing a police is not part of the mitzvah. It's not a separate mitzvah. It's included in the mitzvah of appointing a judge. So when it says shoftim v'shotrim, we just need to appoint, call it shoftim, judges, and included in that is the appointing of the police. Right, because the idea of a police is just a detail in appointing a judge. The main thing is to appoint the judge who knows the ruling and knows what Hashem wants. He teaches it, and having the police is just a way of enforcing it. So it's just a detail of putting the judges. The main thing is that you have a judge who can direct us, instruct us what Hashem wants. You don't, in order to have a pure and good judgment, you don't have to have a policeman. It could happen that a person will keep the judgment without the police. Like it will be when the situation, the time is like it's supposed to be, that we will not need police, like it will be in the future, like we explained before. The reason the Torah commands us to also put police is because it's an instruction for generations. The generations that are talking about all times and all places and all situations where they needed police at other times. So therefore the Torah said, place police. Whenever you will need it, whenever you'll need to enforce it and you will need police to enforce it, then we should have police. That's why the Midrash says you can't have a judge without a police, because that's in a situation where if people aren't ready to accept the ruling of the judge, you must have the police. So it's not a mitzvah on its own to put police. Police is just a side part, a detail of us putting on the judges. The main thing is to have judges who are instructing us what Hashem wants us to do and determining the law. And if we need the police, then the police need to be appointed also. If we don't need police, we won't appoint them. Okay, that is the end of paragraph 4. This is all prelude to understanding how also the difference will be in the future, times of Geulah and Mashiach, when in the future we won't need police. Okay, and the Rebbe will explain how and why, and what we need to do in order to get to the stage where people will not need police anymore. Okay, there'll be more the yotzai, the coaches and the advisors. Okay, so let's see how we'll get to them. And welcome. Who came on? Somebody, Goldie. Welcome, Goldie, and welcome, Melissa, and welcome a new iPhone, which is so that's right. That's okay.
Sarah Anthea.
You want to go by what? How do you want me to call you? The English name?
Sarah Anthea.
Sarah Anthea.
Yeah.
Welcome. So nice. Sarah is an artist. Okay. אף זה יבנתם לכך שביום מתווסף ויועצייך, נוסף על שופטייך, כיוון ששלמות הכוח לכך שבגולה יהיו בני ישראל בשלמות, ויקיימו את הוראות השופטים, מבלי שיזדקקו לשופטים, הוא מזה שאז יהיה שופטייך וגם יועצייך. So the Rebbe says, now we understand that in the future, when there's the prophecy that Yeshaya says, Hashem will restore our judges, there Yeshaya says, we'll also have our advisors. Why? Because the whole power of the fact that in the Geulah, when the Jewish people will be full and whole and complete, we will keep all the instructions of the judges without needing police. And that will come why? How will we be able to do that? Because we will have not only judges, we'll have advisors, yo'atzayich. And I was going to explain what an advisor is. What's the simple difference between a judge and an advisor is shofet eno berech lemishpat. The judge is not, he's on a hierarchy, he's way beyond the one who's being judged. He knows much more. He understands better in the laws and the rules, the dinim mishpatim, with the laws of Torah. There has to be a bittul, there has to be a submission of the one who's being judged to the judge to accept the ruling, to accept what he determines he's going to have to do. Even if the person is not ready for it or doesn't want to have to keep the judgment. Because the judge determines the law and determines the paskin makes declares what the ruling is, but in a way of command, a gezerah, it's a decree from above to below, whether you're ready or not. This is what you must do. And nishpat, the person who's being judged, must accept what he's being judged. The kabbalah, acceptance of the yoke, accepting the hierarchy, accepting the will from above to below, that this is Hashem's will. Whether he understands it or whether not. However, the difference is between an advisor and a judge. A judge is not like that. An advisor gives a good advice. Like the Rebbe say, a good advice which we hear. What does it mean we hear it? It means, it tells us that the advisor, as an advisor, when he's giving advice, he's coming to the level of the person who's listening to his advice. Umekabelets are the one who's receiving the advice. That's why the person who's giving advice is not talking to him from above to below like a judge who's giving him a command and a decree. He's speaking to him like a friend, a good friend. That's speaking to him shaveh, equal to equal. Like, here, this is what's good for you. I understand you. I understand what you're thinking, and this is like, pay attention. This is on. He's explaining it on his level. He's giving him good advice how to behave. Advice that the person who's listening understands. It's understood by him. He understands. He feels it's something good. If not, it's not a good advice. It's just a decree. So we understand the difference between your judges and your advisors. When it comes to the prophecy, when it comes to the judgment and the when it comes to Torah and mitzvahs, when it comes to judgment and advice with regards to Torah and mitzvahs. So there's a difference between a judge and an advisor. So let's see, here it explains. There's an advantage to one over the other. What's the advantage of being an advisor? The person who receives the advice, it's received better. It's kabel, right? It's really, a person can relate to it in their internal self. This is really, it's meaningful to them. It's like, wow, like let's say, I remember when I took on to say Tehillim on Shabbos Mavarchim. Esther's going to like this. Many, many years ago, my mashpia said, do you say the whole Tehillim on the Shabbos once a month before, on the Shabbos that we bless the moon, bless the new month? And I said, at that point, I used to do it when I was a teenager, but when I got married and had kids, and I stopped. So she said, now's a good time for you to restart it. And it's going to bring you all the brachas, and you can do it. So she was like an advisor. She was really saying it's worth all the brachas, okay? So she convinced me. So she was a good advisor because she got me into, she really encouraged me and made me feel like it's good for me. So I took it on. So that is a good advisor. Whereas, so it's good for me. So like we can relate to it, that I understand that it's for me. Whereas the advantage of a shofet, of a judge, is his command, because even though since his instructions come as a command and a decree of a shofet, he's way, way beyond the person who's being judged. The judge has the power of Torah to actually declare and decide and to determine Torah law, to paskin a Torah law. This is a very big strength that he gets. It's way beyond just a good advisor. Comes as a command from above. This forces the person to accept and to keep the instruction. Whereas an advice a person has how do you say? He has it's like a good idea, or it's a good eitzah. It's a good advice.
Like an option.
What? It's an optional thing, right? Person has a choice whether he wants to keep it or not. So what's the advantage? There's an advantage to one over the other. In other words, Rebbe says, when you have a judge, what's emphasized? The judge, the one who's making the decree, the decision. Whereas the one who's giving an advice, what's more prevalent, what's more important, what's more focus? How the person's going to receive it. So the person who's receiving the advice is more in focus. Okay? So when it's a judge, you want the best judge, the highest judge, the high-level judge who understands Hashem's will the best, right? Who can determine Torah law. That's the emphasis, is who's the judge. And when it's an advice, who's in focus? How the person's going to receive it. The tuning is into how do we make it a way that the person can receive the good advice. Where's he holding? Where's he up to? So, similar to the two things that we have to have when we serve Hashem in general. This is what we've been learning the last couple of years, but we're learning last week about how we have to do the service of Hashem with our own initiative, our own power, our own choice. Our own koyach, our own strength, which is called arousal from below, from us. We need to reach out to Hashem. And then we also have arousal from above and help from above, which is called itaut and arousal from above. So too, the Rebbe says, in the help that we get from above, there's also two aspects. There's siyuv v'netinat koach shu berach la'adam u'mitlabesh b'bofen pnimi. There's help that we can get from above that is giving us strength that's appropriate to our level, and it's enclosed in us in an internalized way. We can relate to it, appreciate it, and use it easily because it's felt by us. But we can also get siyuv and we can get help from Hashem from above, but power and strength that's beyond us. That's not even on our level. Just we would never imagine that we can accomplish something, but we know we're only doing it because Hashem's helping us. There's no way on our own we could do it, or we can relate to it, or we could do it just with even our own imagination of what could be done. It's beyond what we ever imagined. So too, we have, when we help the Jewish people serve from their own initiative, we have shoftim, inanim Torah, we have the word of Torah, the word of Hashem, which give us help from above. We know this is what Hashem wants, so maybe we have to stretch a little bit, but this is, it gives us, we know we're getting help from above, which is beyond our own powers, but Hashem is helping. But we also have, when we're helping somebody down here below, we have advisors who help the person in a way that we can feel it, sense it, relate to it, but often that's where we really can sense and feel that it's good for us. Okay? So there's two levels in help, arousal from above, and there's two levels in arousal from below. I'm going to relate to it a little bit, because we try, like I've been trying lately to help people upgrade their mezuzah situations, right? So some people, are not ready necessarily to do their whole entire house and every door. And I've been breaking my head and heart for for years already, even before I married my husband. How do you get people to put up mezuzahs, more mezuzahs, and to put good mezuzahs, not to put mezuzahs that might not be kosher? So that's been, for years and years, I've been working on this. I was raised with a family that, my parents had a sofer come to their house and check mezuzahs for people around in LA. I don't know if you remember, Sarah, were you in there? Did you know my parents in those times? Did you did you? Oh, yeah.
Joshua and Lillian Ritchie, of course.
Were you ever there when Rabbi Moshe Bentov was there checking mezuzahs?
Absolutely, yeah. And Rabbi David El-Harar was his mashgiach, or his helper.
Interpreter. Yeah, David El-Harar knew.
Interpreter, right. And of course, I went to Shlomo Carlebach concerts many a time in your beautiful living room.
Thank you. Did you ever bring your mezuzahs to my parents' house to be checked?
No. I only had one at that time.
Uh-huh.
Now I have on every door.
Every door, yes. You have my husband come.
Right.
Yes, thank God. You have kosher mezuzahs on all your doors. Good for you.
Slow but sure. We grow slow but sure.
Yes, good for you.
And so by chance, I tune into you today.
Yes, thank God.
My grandson's bar mitzvah is happening in Jerusalem, in Yerucham, and on Parshas Shoftim.
Wow.
Isn't it wonderful?
Mazel tov. So this Shabbos.
Born in Israel and bar mitzvahed in Israel.
Beautiful. Mazel tov, mazel tov. Wow, that is Hashgacha Pratis with us. I'm chilled.
I know, so I'm tuning into you, and it's so beautiful. Miracles surround us every day.
Yes, it should go well. It should go happily. They should celebrate with everybody, with all the soldiers in the hospitals, all free and happy.
Absolutely. I like it that judges and advisors and policemen, the judges do the ruling. What the advisor is, it's like, but I can understand the policemen enforce the ruling.
So the advisor, the Rebbe is going to explain more. That's the base, a lot of this sicha. It's also about prophecy, what prophecy is, but it's also explaining what the role of an advisor is. And the Rebbe wants us to all be advisors, to giving advice to each other, to help each other grow.
Oh, I see, right.
Yes. So the judges are the leaders who know Torah, who can determine Torah law, who are on a higher level. They have bigger, broader capacity to make a judgment. So they're on a higher level, but they can raise us to higher levels. But we need the advisors to help us rise to those levels of instructions, because the advisors can relate to us and let us help us understand how everything is really for our good, how all the rulings of the judges are for our good. So there's the need for both, even in the future. And the Rebbe preceded and prefaced that we're already at the time where this applies, these ideas that he's talking about, the judges and the advisors. We're in a time where the Rebbe is concluding, we can do less with the police, we can do more through advisors. It's time. It's also, we see that in educating our kids, in educating the next generation. We need to do less power and control, which worked in older generations, but in our generation, we need to do more advice giving and relating to the people, the kids, where they're at, being able to tune into them and let them understand how it's good for them. In the olden days, you didn't ask why. You just said, this is because I said so. You do it because you have.
Right. I see. It's more of a more internal growth this way.
Yes, more internal growth, right. It's dealing with the person on their level to want to serve Hashem and want to strive to do more and have the connection and that relationship. So that's the role of the advisor, but we're going to see it more inside. And the reason I mentioned my husband is because, and the mezuzah thing is because that's one of my things I'm trying very hard now to do, is to get people to upgrade their level of, and people you can't, many people now, you can't just say, you got to do it because God said so. It's not enough for them to just not. You need to be able to convince them and relate it to them, to their level of understanding of the holiness of the mezuzah and how Hashem is protecting them through the mezuzah and how it's bringing blessings and how you have to give them stories and there's a lot of things you need to do. But it would be nice if the sofer has a little bit of a sofer does have smicha to be a sofer. So he does have the ability to give instructions also and say, this door needs it, this door doesn't. This door needs on this side. Like he has an ability, the paskin, to determine the ruling for that situation. Every door is different, right? The heights, the measurements, everything. There's a lot of little nuances. So he has smicha to determine which situation needs, what doesn't, and whether you make the blessing, whether you don't make the blessing, etc., etc. But the sofer needs also an advice, somebody helping him give advice. If he needs to also be able to give advice, but if he doesn't have enough time to go convincing people, because that's a discussion that my husband and I have. He doesn't when he's doing a job, he's doing a job. His job is to check it, make sure it's kosher. It's to explain to people what the ruling is, what they need. He's more and more being okay with the idea of having to explain more and more. At first, when he first came, he was like, I can't go convincing everybody to put up mezuzahs on all their doors. And he still feels that way in most of the situations. I feel more, I need to take on that role of having the time to try to relate to the person at their level and discuss and bring up the idea more pertaining to where they're holding, not just to give the ruling, and then whether if they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. I try to help them get there to understand. So anyway, so that's the difference between.
I have to say that I've never been in a house that is my home that has a mezuzah, a kosher new mezuzah on every door, meticulously installed. And the deep feeling of safety that I have as a result. Because there's no loophole anywhere that anything can come in. I feel totally protected. And it's such a feeling of spiritual safety and deep physical safety as well. And so I don't know, maybe that could help in your advising.
Thank you. If you could put that in writing for me and send it, I'd appreciate it.
I will. I think it might be helpful.
It will be helpful, for sure.
Yeah. You have to.
You like the advice.
It's only an experience.
It's an
Because
experience.
you can start by just putting on one mezuzah and you feel good. You have mezuzahs on your doorposts and everything Shema Yisrael. It's like that connection. But to actually have every loop and hole and every nook and cranny is put
Yes,
at bay, and every doorpost has a mezuzah. It's truly a deep feeling of safety,
yes. And you're like an
spiritual
advisor.
safety and physical safety. I mean, this is the first time in my life that I felt that.
Beautiful. I'm so glad you're sharing that. I'm so glad you put it in writing because you're acting now like an advisor. The chauffeur is more like the judge. He's saying, you
Right.
must, put on this door. Prison, well, I don't know if I'm ready for that. So you're like coming like the advisor and saying, I know, I can relate to you. I've been there. I only had one mezuzah on my door for a long time. And I changed. I did, and now I feel so much safer. So that's where the advisor comes in. So it's a perfect example. And we are all trying to be good advisors because we're not necessarily judges. I mean, we may know the judgment because we follow Torah rulings ourselves, so we know the Torah rules and Torah laws. But you and I here are more like advisors.
Because sometimes, really bad things appear. I mean, it appears bad. I mean, arguments happen and things get broken, and there's very intense energies in the home. But because of the mezuzahs, I'm inwardly reminded that everything is from Hashem. This too is for the good, and nothing comes to us in this home that isn't completely directed by Hashem for our own good, whether
Yes,
we can see it or not. So
yes,
that's another element.
that's another element, right? The mezuzahs are for our good, and every
Not all love and peace and Mashiach is here and is holy and sanctified, except on Shabbos. As soon as after Havdalah we go into the week, it's like a maelstrom of energies. But we can negotiate. We travel through that and arrive at the next Shabbos, Baruch Hashem, into the peace.
Yes, Hashem, thank you. So also, Sarah, at the end of class, we have more time to schmooze more.
Oh,
We,
say, okay,
yes,
sorry, yeah.
so we try to cover as much. I'm so glad you shared that because it
Mm.
exactly it was a great example of you being, each one of us can be an advisor, and this is exactly what the Rebbe, right? The Rebbe said the sicha to all of us. He said there's a bringing for every Jewish person that you see yourself as a coach, as an advisor, as you're helping people with your own, relating to them where they're holding at, and encouraging them and supporting them to do Hashem's will. Okay, so that is, what time is it now? Let me just see. It's 8:20. Let's do just a little bit more. It's an amazing sequence.
Sorry
Well,
to
no, no,
interrupt.
no, 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 you didn't. You helped me. Now the Rebbe is going to the idea, the question about how judges are at the start and advisors were at the beginning. Okay, it says, I will return, it says in Ishaiah, the prophet says, I will return your judges like at the start, and I will return your advisors like at the beginning. So what's the difference between start and beginning? Start, which is called Rishon first, first could even be before anything started. Whereas beginning, where it already began. Okay? So what can we say? The Rebbe says the difference between a judge at the start or at first, and your judges at the beginning, just like as the judges and the advisors were at once, there's a difference between them, essential difference between them, like we see when it says we return the judges at first and the advisors at the beginning. There's two different ways of them coming out. Since the Pulat HaShofet Nimtzat Bat Gasha Bekam Metziut HaShofet, since when we said when we have a judge, the main focus is on the judge and his judgment, on his level. It comes as a command from above. Without paying so much attention, how ready the person is to receive it. Therefore, there's a stop. There's a stop, a break between the words of the judge and their being enacted. When they are accepted and taken into action. Since after the judge makes the judgment, then you have to start something new, that the person should accept this judgment and start it. That's why it says your judges, like at the start, shoftim ashiva him kavishna, the judges that will be returned are like at the start, rishon at first, the level of first. Rishon is first. Before it started. So we're going back to the beginning before anything even started. Masha'enken, whereas that's when the advisor is giving his advice, he's focusing more on the receiver. The person who's listening is already a vessel that can receive. The advice that's given is already given in a way, in a thought pattern, that the person who's receiving it will receive it, and how he is going to be receiving it, and it's already begun. We already began this taking place. It's already being applied. The person who's listening is already ready for it. The advice is only to reveal how he's ready and how it's going to be done. How it's a good advice for him, how it's for his benefit. So it's really just a revelation. The person who's giving the advice is just revealing to the person how it's good for him. Person's already ready to receive it. We just have to reveal to him how ready he is and how good it is for him. And as soon as the person gives advice, the person is ready right away to start doing it and acting on it. Therefore, it says your advisors will come back like at the beginning. Those who are advisors that will return in times of Mashiach, which is us. The Rebbe says we're all these advisors that are going to be returning in times of Geulah. We're on this level of Batchila, we're on this level of the beginning. We're connected with the beginning of actually keeping the advice. We're more connected to the actual keeping of it. Okay, we're not connected to this high, aloof, uplifted, detached level of great brilliance necessarily. We're tuned into the person, and we're already tuned into the practicality of how it's going to be done, how it's good, how it belongs to us and it's relating to us. That's why the Rebbe says, it says your advisors, they're yours. This is your advice, and this is something that's relating to you. This is your Inyan. This is for you. We make, through the advisors, we make these judges not just detached judges, we make them your judges. They're yours. The advisor makes the decrees of the judges their judgment, that it belongs to them, that it's internalized, that they feel it in an eternal, accepting way. This is my judgment. It's for me. It's for my good. Okay, so when we'll finish here. But is connecting it to Sha'arayich, in your gates. Why does it say Sha'ar, gate? One singular gate is an opening to get into a city. What's the intention with the gate? We're placing these judges and these police at the gate. When we need the police, they're at the gates. It's often titen lecha, give to yourself, to you, b'chol sha'arecha, and all your gates. So again, it's in nochach. It's in nochach. It's referring. It's talking to you. You, simply put, each one of us. שעות ופסקי דיונים השופטים שהם מצד עצמם באופן של הבדלה, מתקבלים בערך ציווי וקבלת עול, יתקבלו אצל בני ישראל וידעו לך, that these judgments and decrees by the judges will be received and accepted by the Jewish people, and they will become lecha for you in all your gates, that will come internalized with pnimius. The gate becomes your gate. So it's not detached above and unrelatable, and we're just accepting because we have to, and because we don't know why, and it's not for us, but we'll do it anyway because, like it's hard, it's a burden, No, when it's a judge, it's we have to, we have to go to court, we have to accept. But when it's a coach, it's exciting to go to a coach. It's exciting to go to an advisor because it makes it we understand how we're doing something for our benefit and for our good, and we're excited about it. Exciting coaches. That's what we are. We can give ourselves a new definition. We're all exciting coaches, or excitement coaches. We get people excited. So now we can understand this in our service of Hashem. When we talk about your gates, we're talking about the gates of human beings. We each have a few gates. We have our eyes, they're opening to see. We have our ears, they're opening from our body. Our nostrils, our mouth, like it's going to be explained further in paragraph 12. These are an opening. A shara, as a gate, is an opening between us and everything that's around us. And we have these gates, and all our gates we have to have judges placed. All our body parts and all our powers will be mastered, or will be following and will be led through our judges that are in our soul judge, which is the brain of our soul, our godly soul. There's a brain of we have brains of our animal soul, our human soul, and we have brains of our godly soul, which is part of Hashem above, which is this purely wants to do Hashem's will. So these brains of our godly soul, that's what we use to learn Torah. And the learned Torah and the instructions of the Torah, which is our judges, they should be our ruling. They should be the ones coming into us, directing us. That we will place, that will place in a very grand way, in a beautiful way, in a generous way. In all our gates, in all our avarim, all our body parts, all our kochas, all our talents, all our powers, hapnimim, internal powers, in a way that it's permeating us completely. Our gates, should be the beginning, our opening gates, and this is through our advisors. Like they are at the start. They were already there. They get us to a place where we're already ready, completely ready to immediately do Hashem's will with excitement. So we're going to learn more about the advisors in this week, which is a very exciting week because we all like to be good advisors. We all like to be listened to, right? We don't want to tell people what to do and people don't listen to us, especially our kids. So we want to be able to be good coaches. So that's going to be this week. So who would like to say something, ask something, add something? It's 8:30. My time. This is a very exciting Torah portion. I'm sure you coach ladies have something to say.
Awesome. It's awesome. I just wanted to say that it's interesting that just a couple days ago I decided to have the phrase, not that I decided to have the phrase, but I'm using the phrase, go full force without force.
Oh, nice.
And so it's really fitting with this.
Yes.
And I have an advisor now who is a marketing and PR professional, who's going to help me make sure that people get engaged.
Nice.
He said there's a process. He says you probably, it's the advisor, and you be the advisor, you say the words, and then people are engaged, and then they're there.
Yes, and then you want to take it next step, exactly. More internalized. Yeah. Make it easy for people.
Right.
hold them.
that's what he's telling me, this person.
It was when my husband did a Siyum Sefer Torah on Sunday last time, not yesterday, a week ago, and we had to pick up the Sefer Torah for my husband to go do write the final 4 lines. So at first he was going to just put on the poles at their office where it was and leave it there, but because he had to add the 4 last lines weren't written, it was a surprise for everybody. He had to take it home and work on it. So I was helping my husband. I got to hold the Torah scroll. It's not fully a Torah scroll yet. It's still missing. So it doesn't have the full holiness of Torah yet. But it was so special to hold this Torah scroll. And I held it instinctively like you hold a baby. It was a very small scroll. It was exceptionally small. So I was holding it like I hold a baby in my hands. Why am I saying this? I guess because we have these motherly instincts. We want to bring the Torah also, like cradle it and bring it in a loving way.
Like at the beginning.
Beginning, yes. But that's how I felt really good carrying the Torah like I'm holding a little baby, an infant. Like, when you're nursing a baby. Anyway.
I just want to comment on what Rachel said. Yeah, you could have like with the Torah advisors and this and that, but then it might be inconvenient for a person to change their whole outlook in order to get beyond what the failures and to actually change.
Yes,
because you could tell people do this, your things
right.
change like this with, and they. So
yes.
I know what you're saying. You're saying go full force. Yeah, that's the thing is, but you have to convince them with the force to actually do it, right? But maybe
not with the force, but without force. Just go full force. Without the force. Once you connect and engage, and it's because of you, Alyssa, that I'm doing this. You know what I'm talking about.
Ah,
good for you. See, we spur each other in this class. We help each other bring out the best in us.
Yeah, but the things I've seen so many times that you can help someone and push them. A lot of, what I find, the people that listen, they're so successful. It's like incredible. You see,
sure.
But then there's some people who just can't get through those stages of pushing through to get to a different place.
Sometimes people don't know how. They need more advice. They need more coaching.
Well, I say they don't even need to. They don't even need to push through those things. That's how I found it to be. The way that works is to have no pushing, no force, nothing. I don't tell them anything.
But do they do it? Right. That's
yes.
And they great. Amazing.
And not only that, it's contagious in them. It's amazing.
Because they can see the example.
Yes. Well, I don't know that you mean me or not, but
not so much here, but it's by seeing.
Yes, it's by seeing, Sarah.
Yeah.
That's important.
That's why it's so important for us to always be an example. Even when we go out of our homes, we dressed perfectly and beautifully. It's neat and inspirational to other women.
I know you are by seeing you right now and what you've said today.
Sarah makes beautiful art. I want you sometime to show the ladies.
Oh my, you make art. Oh,
beautiful, spiritual, delicate colors. Unbelievable.
I bet it just comes out, Sarah. It just comes out of you.
I know it's, only because I was very blessed in my early years of living that I travel. My parents, we traveled all over the Middle East. At 9, I was raised in England and educated there. My parents were English. And
I'm going to turn off the